Good morning. This is Monday with Friday, and I am back with you, hopefully for many better weeks ahead. Thank you for your patience while I was on a necessary break. My wife has allowed me to remain married to her for 40 years. To say that we have been married for 40 years grossly overstates my credit for this marvelous feat. But seriously though, we've learned how to remain in love, not just as a feeling, but as a continuous, never-ending series of actions towards each other. During these 40 years, we have moved 18 times, 3 of which were international moves, 11 of which were while we were in the same jobs, and therefore due to housing issues related to either her job or mine. It wasn't on us. And 4 due to house purchases and or new jobs. I didn't include the move through which we are currently transitioning across 4 states, or 3 more moves, which involve temporary residences while we awaited permanent housing arrangements, again from our employers. Did I just say permanent? Ha ha. Although I have held the same career for 40 years, I've changed jobs 7 times, and this one into which I have been settling while I took a necessary hiatus away from you is the 8th, and I expect it to be the last towards my retirement. It is a job, the capacity, ability, and preparation for which I have been convinced for a decade I possessed. And in many ways, I call it my dream job, though in my profession and vocation, I should really say that it is the job within and through which all of my best and most useful and mature abilities, gifts, and talents can be deployed for the greatest good of the people who would give me the honor and privilege to use them in their service. Now, I did not get here by the easy route. I have had significant professional, congregational, denominational, and personal heartbreak along the way. I have met some of the best and some of the worst people in my profession and areas of service. And yet, I am thoroughly convinced that I needed to encounter all of those people and all of those experiences in order to equip me for where I have landed. So, when I reference those people and experiences, I do so not with bitterness, but with gratitude and with an understanding that I had to go there in order to be here. Now, some folks who knew nothing about what they were talking when they attempted to gauge or assess my track record, labeled me, especially when they think of all of those moves that I referenced above, as unstable, or they were convinced that something was wrong with me when in fact they were wrong. Some of them have come to discover long after that the something they thought was wrong wasn't necessarily me, wasn't only me, or wasn't primarily me, but were some environments which at the time appeared to be pure hell. They were environments that were the crucible preparing me for where I have landed now in this position. Sure, many people, or maybe most people, land where they really want to be either early in their career or mid-career, not near the end like I think I have. The truth I want to lift out of this very personal self-disclosure is a word about transitions, and it's not to denigrate where I have been before. It is to celebrate where I am now. But with 19 moves under my belt in 40 years, I know a thing or two about transitions. Funny enough, the work I have done this past decade was through an agency called Transition Ministries. I'm not making this up. But the truth is, no matter how permanent we might think we are in some station or position in life, we are in transition. That's why when someone dies, we euphemistically say they have transitioned. And what we really mean is that they've made their final transition, because from the moment we are born, we are transitioning, whether through the educational stages of kindergarten to elementary to secondary to tertiary, or the physical human stages of infancy to toddler to childhood to teenager to puberty to teenager to young adult to golden ager, or from rookie or novice to expert then to retired, or from single to married, perhaps divorced and remarried, or to widowed, or from single and desirous of being married or doubled, whatever you call it, to single and being quite happy being this way after all. Sometimes we transition between wellness and illness and wellness, between being broke and being solvent. Whatever the phases of life, we are always in transition. So the question is, what do we do with transitions, especially the ones that are uncomfortable? I say, lean into them, embrace them, receive them as normal, and prepare to harvest them later on for whatever good and maybe even glory they may bring you. As well, never presume that where you are is where you shall always be. Even if that is how it turns out, be sure to change your thinking, your perspective, your circle of operation, your parameters of function. Maybe even expand your skills and your abilities, expand your circle of friends. To neither notice nor embrace transitions is to skirt with becoming stagnant, irrelevant, backward, and even useless. And the world can really do without all of that, especially from anybody who says that they bring good news, bear good news, or are good news. So go on, get moving. I am Michael Friday, and your week just got better. I'll see you again next week. Happy Monday, transitioning all the way to Friday.